Hello, and thanks again for joining us. By now I'm sure you've heard the tragic news that several of our neighbors are dealing with the aftermath of an explosion and fire that left at least 24 families without a home temporarily. It happened at a condominium complex in the city of Gaithersburg just before 9 o'clock Wednesday morning. Our Department of Health and Human Services is working with the American Red Cross and other community partners to assist residents and reunite families. Our partners, Montgomery Housing Partnership, has set up a website so that people can make donations to assist the residents who were impacted. www.mhpartners.org/Gaithersburg Fire. There's also a QR code that you can use to access the website. An investigation is underway into what caused the explosion. Certainly, in addition to our public safety teams, we also have staff from Health and Human Services and from our partners at the American Red Cross. Please keep all those impacted by this disaster in your thoughts. You may have heard that anti-Semitic graffiti was found on Monday along the Bethesda trolley trail and at other nearby locations. While it was quickly reported and cleaned up by our staff, this is certainly upsetting. This is the second time we've had to deal with this kind of vandalism in the last 3 months, and this behavior that we are seeing is not going to be accepted or tolerated here in Montgomery County. As a government and community, we must push back against those who try to divide us with these hateful messages and actions. Let me be perfectly clear about this. Threats of violence against any individual group in our community won't be tolerated. These recent acts of vandalism and hatred remind me of my own childhood, when I found that I was being told that I would burn in hell because I was Jewish. My adult daughter heard the same vile language when she was in grade school. That was our history, but I will not allow it to be our situation today. The children and families of this county deserve much better, and we're not going to allow this kind of hate speech to go unpunished. People who think like this need to understand how small and isolated they are. They do not reflect the common values of Montgomery County. The Jewish community makes up 10% of our population, but 85% of the bias incidents reported in the county impacted the Jewish community, according to the most recent report on bias incidents in the county. In the last year, we've also seen area churches and historically black colleges and universities targeted in bias incidents, and since the start of the pandemic, attacks against Asians has also increased. Racial and religious discrimination has no place in our community or anywhere. This is why we have to work together and support groups that fight against discrimination. I've said this before, that diversity is our strength, and I urge everyone to recognize it and do their part to make Montgomery County as inclusive and equitable as possible. I'm pleased to report the Council has confirmed Dr. Keisha Davis as our county's next health officer. Dr. Davis is from Montgomery County. She spent her career both practicing medicine and most recently being an advocate for equity issues that minorities face in getting medical care. Montgomery County has led the nation in our response to the COVID-19 pandemic, thanks in large part to the leadership of our Department of Health and Human Services, and I know that Dr. Davis will be a great part of the team. I was very pleased to nominate Dr. Davis. We've found a health expert and leader committed to innovation, equity, and access to health care. I want to thank her for accepting this position. I look forward to working with her, listening to her advice, and following her guidance regarding the health issues and challenges facing Montgomery County. You've probably noticed the resurgence of face masks at places like grocery stores, on Metro, or at schools across the region. It's not a mistake. We're seeing a spike in respiratory illnesses that are filling up hospital beds at children's hospitals. Add to that flu cases and the persistence of COVID-19, and that explains the added stress to the pediatric arm of our healthcare system. Even though our community level for COVID still remains low, health experts are still encouraging you to maintain the same safety measures that many of us followed before COVID vaccines were widely available. That includes washing your hands frequently, isolating as best you can before a trip out of town, and keeping a mask handy so that if you find yourself in a confined space with a lot of people, you can protect yourself and others. Thanksgiving is the main reason to be cautious. We're likely to be around a lot of people that we don't see regularly. You don't want to be the reason someone you love gets sick, and they don't want to get you sick either. Please remember that our best form of protection is being fully vaccinated or boosted. Flu vaccines are widely available now. Studies show that the newly introduced boosters are far more effective than the boosters many people got earlier this year against Omicron. Getting another shot is strongly recommended to protect yourself from the Omicron variant, which has sent so many people to the hospital this past December and January. Let's keep that COVID-19 wave from cresting again and causing widespread illnesses. Be vigilant this Thanksgiving holiday in protecting yourself and loved ones from all the viruses. In monkeypox, or MPX news, we've gone another week in Montgomery County without a new case reported. Statewide, there have only been 4 new cases identified. Let's hope that this continues. This week, a supporter of the life sciences and biomedical industries, BioReliance, announced it will add a new building in Rockville. The $286 million investment will expand its biosafety testing capacity, which creates safe drugs for consumers. Their parent company, Merck, has had a presence in Montgomery County for more than 75 years. They understand the benefit of expanding their current operations to take advantage of being in the nation's 4th largest biocluster. The talent pool that feeds that cluster is ranked number 2 in the nation by industry analysts. A leader with the German-owned operation calls it the largest investment in contract testing in the company's history. BioReliance, known as Millipore Sigma internationally, plans to create more than 500 jobs along Darnestown Road over the next 4 years. We're proud to have the assets in Montgomery County that make companies want to come here and expand. We'll continue making the right kind of improvements to ease the burdens of doing business in the county and make it more attractive to prospective employers in every industry. And we are still receiving a lot of attention and buzz from our announcement last week of our partnership with the University of Maryland, College Park, University of Maryland, Baltimore, and the University of Maryland Medical System to create the Institute for Health Computing. It will be located at the North Bethesda Metro Station in the Pike District. This is exciting news, and as UMS CEO Dr. Mohan Santha noted, the nation will describe Montgomery County as the Silicon Valley of healthcare. Thousands are expected this weekend for the county's annual Thanksgiving parade in downtown Silver Spring on Saturday. This event officially kicks off the holiday season in Montgomery County. Costume dancers, marching bands, and floats typically fill the streets. Road closures begin at 6 a.m. Saturday along Georgia Avenue and nearby streets. Streets will reopen around 1 p.m. The town center parking garage is closed for parade activity starting early Friday morning. I want to thank the Thanksgiving parade team and the Silver Spring Arts and Entertainment District for their hard work pulling together such a joyous event. That's our wrap up for today. I hope you have a great week. We'll be back again next week. See you then.